Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Deb Taylor. I want to welcome you to the virtual college exploration for all Ohio students. This is being sponsored by the Ohio Association of College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. I do have a few housekeeping items that I want to go over. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to ask our presenter a question at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so our presenter cannot see you and they cannot hear you. This session is being recorded and it will be available in about a week. I want to remind you that there are other sessions that are going on. Please take a look at the schedule. You can find it at the OACAC website, which is oacac.org. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to our presenter.
All right, well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me this evening. I'm going to share my screen here, get our presentation up and running. My name is Dan Yates, and I happily serve as the Associate Director for Outreach and Recruitment here in undergraduate admissions. I am a very proud two-time graduate of Ohio University, and you might hear me talk about some of my experiences as I roll through the presentation. But if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to put those in the Q&A. I'll try to check those periodically to see if there's any questions about a topic that we're currently going over. But if there's anything else that we need to discuss, I would be happy to make sure we leave some time at the end for those conversations. So we will jump right on in and just hopefully you'll learn a lot about Ohio University. So I first want to start with a video. So if you have some questions or whatnot as you're going through, this might give you a really good opportunity to start typing those out or get a sense of what we might be talking about for our evening this evening. So let's go ahead and jump on in.
At Ohio University, we've spent our last 216 years perfecting your 4.
We looked at a bunch of different schools, and the last one was OU, and I came here and I just realized that this home, it just felt right to me, and that's a weird feeling because I didn't feel it anywhere else. I'm from a small town, so I get what it means to have a community, and when I came here, I felt that community again. There's something about this place that just makes you feel happy.
Knowing that you're having an impact and able to contribute to whatever science field you're working in is really important to know as a student. It's definitely cool to see free science in the making.
It's a real community that you get, not just in your residential green, but also in your residence hall.
Together with our regional campuses, centers, and Ohio Online, we are One Ohio.
When I first came here, I didn't have a lot of confidence. The faculty teach you that change is important. You meet all these people who want to enact the change and want to be a part of a family. The best part about it is gaining confidence in being you and not being someone else. this is home. This is a place for me to grow, for me to be a new person.
Ohio's generous and renewable scholarships represent our commitment to investing in your success for life. Ohio University doesn't just deliver a degree. It becomes part of who you are and will be forever.
All right, I know that is a great overview of Ohio University with some great pictures and hearing from some of our students. And it really gives you an insight of what we'll kind of touch on this evening, and we'll get a little bit deeper in a lot of those different topics. But as you heard from a lot of the students that were showcased in that video, there's just something about Ohio University that just makes it home. The borders and boundaries of Athens and the borders and boundaries of Ohio University are very much blended and interconnected. That really makes attending Ohio University feel like a home. I'm originally from Cincinnati and made my way across the state to attend the institution, and I absolutely fell in love with Ohio University and fell in love with Athens to the point where I'm very proud to work for this institution and really call Southeastern Ohio a second home for me. Athens itself, I think, is one of the things that makes Ohio University pretty special. So in 1797, Athens was literally founded to be a college town. So I think one of the things that, again, makes Ohio University pretty unique is the fact that it resides in a town that was built for a college. So I know a lot of institutions, or you might have heard that, you know, we're the quintessential college town from multiple institutions, but I really truly believe that Ohio University can say that in true transparency, because Athens was literally founded to be a college town. If you're interested in attending an institution that's located in an area that is pretty well versed in the arts, Athens is a great spot. It's been ranked one of the top 100 art communities in the country, with so much to do art-wise, whether that's music, dance, theater, opening art exhibits with our students showcasing their work. There's so much to do within the arts. And I think that does play into our small college town and being ranked one of the top small college towns in the country. If you're looking for a diverse and inclusive city or place to attend, Athens is also pretty inclusive and progressive. And the university continues with that path today. So we, as in Athens, did serve as a stop on the Underground Railroad. We also are proud to have graduated John Newton Templeton, who is the fourth African-American to graduate from college in the United States. We really continued that tradition of being progressive and inclusive, not only within Athens, but within Ohio University as well. Uptown Athens, as you walk around, will also get pretty familiar to you as you will take in some of the local cuisine. There's some delicious restaurants. There's a lot of venues uptown that will host music events and whatnot. There's just a ton of stuff to do uptown with local boutiques and shops. But if you're into anything outdoors, Athens is also a really great spot for outdoor activity, whether that is hiking in the Hocking Hills recreational region, which is just up the road, whether that's taking a nice run or bike ride on the Hocking Medina Bikeway that does run through campus. It's a 22-mile bike path that does run all the way up to Nelsonville. The trick to the bike path, however, is it's 22 miles of one direction. It unfortunately does not loop all the way around. So if you've gone on a nice 22-mile bike ride and find yourself in Nelsonville, you unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you are, have a nice 22-mile bike ride back to campus. But it's right along the Hocking River. It's a pretty nice bike path to have at your disposal while you're a student on campus. Athens then was home to Ohio University in 1804. So we, as an institution, have a 216-year history of education, and we continuously look to improve upon what we did yesterday and the year before and 100 years ago. So what you'll find in Athens and at Ohio University is we're continuously looking to improve on your experience. We are the oldest institution in the Old Northwest Territory. We like to say we're Ohio's first and finest institution. We are designated a doctoral or research institution, which for you as an undergraduate student means that there are opportunities to get involved in research as an undergrad. If you want to continue your education after your undergraduate time at the university, we do have master's degrees, PhDs, doctoral degrees, medical degrees, so many different options for you as an undergraduate student. We are also one of the top 100 public institutions in the country, and I think that not only stems from the work that is happening in Athens, but as you heard from the video, our 11 campuses and regional centers across Ohio really play into that ranking as a great public institution that you can choose. Even though Ohio University has 17,000 undergrads and about 24,000 total students, which for some of you might seem rather large, the difference that you'll find at Ohio University is your experience is going to be pretty personal. We're going to work with you to make sure that the education that you're receiving, the courses that you're getting into, and the experience you have at the university is going to be tailored to what you are looking for, and it enables you to take that next step into your career or into graduate school when you complete. As you get started at the university, as some of you are kind of exploring your different options, and we hope as we go through the rest of our time this evening that you kind of get an understanding of where Ohio University fits on your spectrum. And one of the things that you might be looking for is an institution that has your particular major or program. And Ohio University has over 250 different majors to choose from. Now, for someone like myself, who was a little bit undecided when I was looking for a college to attend, 250 different options was a little bit overwhelming. However, I think the nice thing for me was I realized pretty quickly that Ohio University was a great place to be undecided. It was a safe place to be undecided. It's a safe place to do a little bit of exploration. Or if you decide on a program, the chances of Ohio University having that major is going to be fairly high. But if you decided to switch majors midway through your first year, or if you're not 100% dead set on completing that business degree because you get into accounting and then it's just not going to work for you, we have a lot of different options to choose from after you've already built that community in Athens and at Ohio University. The student to faculty ratio and the average class size, you'll find similar numbers at most other institutions with a 16:1 student to faculty ratio and an average class size of 30. I do think that it's important to note that not all classes are 30. So as you hear that number from us and from other institutions, know that that is definitely just the average. I had a class of 150 of my closest friends when I was in a psychology class, but then I got down to a class of 8 my senior year when I took an event planning class, and we actually opened up or planned the opening celebration to our new Baker University Center. So a lot of really great experiences come with the classes as you progress through your major. 81.5% is our freshman retention rate, which is something we're pretty proud of, as the national average is somewhere in the 70s. We are doing a lot at the institution to make sure that you are successful and that you're willing and able and really can continue your education all the way through graduation. Part of that success, I do think, stems from that 90% of our courses are taught by full-time faculty or university administrators. So the people in front of you in the classroom are well equipped to teach, they're wanting to teach, they're well educated, and they want to share that information with you as a student. Very few of your courses are taught by graduate assistants or teaching assistants. If you're looking for an honors experience, Ohio University is home to 2 different options. We have had for about 50 years an experience or a college at the university called Honors Tutorial College. It is pretty selective. It only has about 38 or so different majors to choose from. However, not every major is represented. So last year, we opened up a university-wide honors experience that's called the Ohio Honors Program. Both pathways, you will find community engagement, leadership and creative activity, as well as research opportunities. So as you are looking for those opportunities at an institution, Ohio University does have a couple different options for you to choose from. Like I mentioned, including the Ohio Honors Program, which is open to any and all students at the university. And it's a pretty easy way to kind of take your education just slightly to the next level. There are some benefits that come along with experiences within an honors field at the university, including access to honors and scholars housing. You have recognition on your transcript and on your diploma, and then also some research opportunities, engagement with faculty, honors and scholars housing, a whole bunch of stuff that comes with being involved in one of our honors experiences. But honestly, everything you're doing at the university is going to be an experience that you can build upon when you're taking that next step. And that includes getting involved in student clubs and organizations. We at the university have over 600 clubs and organizations that you can pick and choose from. Again, this alone does not necessarily make Ohio University distinctive if you're comparing against other institutions. But I do think what makes our students a little bit more, or that fact or figure a little bit more distinctive here at Ohio University is that our students get engaged at a very, very deep level. Students are rising in the ranks of leadership opportunities within those student clubs and organizations. We at the university are using those to help build, leadership skills and communication skills and fundraising and event planning, all of the skills that you as a student or as a potential employee are putting on a resume, or as an employer that they are looking for on a resume. You can gain those experiences and those skills through your involvement in student organizations. We have over 16 NCAA Division I teams, so you can cheer on those Bobcats at no additional cost. You just show up to those games with your Ohio ID, we swipe you in, and you can cheer on the Bobcats from the sidelines. If you would rather cheer on the Bobcats that are on the stage at a music concert, a dance recital, a reopening of an art gallery that is showcasing their work, we also recognize the importance of arts. So we have an initiative called Arts for Ohio that students also get into student-led events at no additional cost. So both athletics and arts students can experience and showcase their Bobcat pride and cheer on their fellow Bobcats at no additional cost. I think one of the reasons our students get engaged to the level in which they do is the fact that we are residential. We have over 7,000 students that typically live on campus, and they get to choose from one of 38 different residence halls that are spread across 3 different residential greens. So the nice thing about our process is students get to pick and choose where they want to live. And when I say that, I don't mean I want to live on campus, or I want to live on West Green or South Green or East Green. When it comes time for you to pick your room, you have a designated time. You log into our system. If you want to live on East Green in Lincoln Hall on the 3rd floor in room 312, if that room is open at your time, you can click in and select that room and reserve that space. A lot of students will pick and choose their location or their room based on their major. Some will want to live by the best food, some want easy access to the bike path or the recreation center, or some want to live in the most picturesque or beautiful green on campus. So it's completely up to you where you live on campus. And if you do some quick math, you'll realize that 38 buildings for 7,000 students is a lot of physical space. It's a lot of buildings. And that is done intentionally to make sure that the communities that you're building at Ohio University are going to be small within those residential communities. So you can really get to know your other students. We're really intentionally making those residential experience one that you'll get to know others in your buildings. We do not have one of those high-rise buildings that all first-year students or 1,000 students will typically live. Most buildings house about 150 or so students, which is nice and definitely more manageable. I could talk about food all day. If you were living on campus, the food in our dining facilities is delicious. It's made a pretty drastic turn from when I was a student on campus. We have healthy options, vegetarian options, vegan options, fresh, homemade. One of my favorite things now when we have guests on campus or when I get the opportunity to eat in the dining halls, specifically in the morning, is homemade omelets or breakfast burritos. You mark what you want and our chefs will make it right there for you. I think it's also important to note that we on our campus make our own food. It is not something that we have catered in. We do not vend with another company. We at the university have our catering service, and it's made right there, which is definitely a little bit more unique for an institution of our size. Now let's fast forward all the way to graduation, and you were looking for that internship or that job or that graduate program when you finish up. 93% of our students are either employed or in graduate school upon a year of completion. I think a lot of that is contributed to the award-winning work that our Career and Leadership Development Center is doing with our students as early on as your first year. So whether that's writing a resume or building a cover letter or having a mock interview as you prepare for your job, or if it's looking for internships, there's job and internship fairs that they'll put on for university-wide programs or majors. There's so much work that they're doing with our students to make sure that you are well prepared to take that next step. And really, once you finish, you're joining over 260,000 living alumni around the world that have a great passion for this university. There's a saying that you might hear if you're on campus or as you're ready to finish up, or even talking to employers, that Bobcats like to hire Bobcats. So as you kind of work your way through and find your next step, I think you'll be surprised to see how many Bobcats are in your same field. And also, if you are just on vacation, Bobcats love to talk to other Bobcats. If you're wearing an Ohio University t-shirt or sweatshirt or hat or hoodie or socks or whatever the case is, if you get spotted by another Bobcat, they're probably going to yell at you just to talk about their time in Athens and their time at Ohio University. I think a lot of that has a lasting impact on the experience that you are receiving at the university. All of those experiences that you have throughout the classroom, inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and what those alumni feel for Ohio University really pays you back as a student on that experience that you're receiving at the institution. One of the things that we also like to do that helps with that experience is be as predictable and as transparent as possible, specifically as it relates to cost. We know that cost of attending Ohio University or cost of attending any institution is an investment, and we want to make sure you know upfront what that cost will be, not only for your first year, but for 4 years as you go through your undergraduate career. The way we do that is one of the most comprehensive programs that you'll be able to find. We were the first institution to do something like this in Ohio, and it's what's called the Ohio Guarantee Plus. The Ohio Guarantee Plus has 3 different pillars that I like to talk about. First, it is a fixed rate tuition and fee table that will go with you for 4 years or 12 consecutive semesters. So as you work your way through your undergraduate career, the tuition and fees you're paying on your first day throughout your first year are the same tuition and fees you pay year 2, year 3, and year 4. So I've seen plenty of spreadsheets that families put together that are comparing costs versus institution 1 and institution 2 and institution 3. For Ohio University, you plug those numbers in for 1 year, copy and paste those columns all the way across for 4 years. So you'll know what the cost of attending the university is, just so we can be as predictable and as transparent as possible. The second piece that I would argue is almost just as important as that fixed rate table is the university will enter into a shared commitment to an on-time, on-plan graduation, meaning that there are 6 colleges now within Ohio University that are going to be fully on board for the fall of 2021. But you will sit down with an academic advisor and they will help you plan your next 4 years. We want to make sure that you know what that pathway to graduation looks like pretty early on in the process. So as you work your way through, you will be able to take, this class to get in the second class, to get in your third class, to ultimately graduate from the university. And then once you finish up, the last pillar is really lifelong benefits to Bobcats, whether that is assistance financially in continuing your education at the university, whether that is, providing, a listening ear if you are asking what, our career and leadership development staff would suggest as far as updating your resume as you're looking for a promotion or even changing careers completely, we want to make sure that we are there to support you all the way through not only your undergraduate career, but throughout your life. Going on with cost, Ohio University, just like other institutions, the FAFSA opened up on October 1st. So you can go ahead and start working on filling that out, which is the free application for federal student aid. Our priority deadline for the FAFSA submission is January 15th. That way our financially and scholarship colleagues can get a comprehensive package back to you as the student and as the family by the middle of February. You'll know what that cost will be. You'll know what scholarships and grants and loans you'll be able to receive will be by the middle of February. That will not, however, typically be the first time you hear about scholarships. We will start sending some initial scholarship packages out to students as early as the beginning of December. When it comes to scholarships, there's not a separate application you have to fill out for automatic consideration. Every single student that applies will be considered for merit-based scholarships. So the application for admission acts as the application for scholarships. Makes it pretty darn easy to not only apply to the university, but we'll use that for scholarship consideration as well. Of course, if you're using any outside or receiving any outside scholarships, you can definitely use those monies to help pay for school at Ohio University as well. So if you haven't started looking, or if you are looking, keep doing so. Keep trying to find those scholarship opportunities that can help cut down some of those costs. You'll see one of the bullet points on the slide here also indicates test optional, which I'll talk about in just a second, but you will not need to submit a test score in order to be considered for scholarships at the university. When we're looking at total cost to attend Ohio University, in-state and out-of-state rates are listed on the screen. There is a little bit of flexibility within these rates as to, depending on what room preference you have and what your appetite might look like. We use the standard double and the traditional 14 meal plan as kind of a benchmark because that is the most popular. It is not the least expensive, but it's the most popular options that our students choose. So also look at these rates through the Ohio Guarantee Plus lens, and note that our Board of Trustees set these rates, and they decided from last year to this year not to increase rates. So I don't know what these will look like for the incoming class of fall of 2021, but we are pretty cognizant of the cost of attending college and want to make sure that we can be an affordable option for any and all students. As you prepare for your applications and as you prepare to take those next steps to an institution, hopefully Ohio University, everything you're doing today is still counting. So one of the things that we will look at is your high school transcript. As we are looking at your transcript, we are checking the boxes to make sure that you're having the completion of the necessary courses to graduate within English and math and sciences and foreign languages and all of that type of stuff. Typically, students have all of these because they are traditionally the graduation requirements for your high school. So I typically spend a little bit more time on the bottom section of this slide, which talks a little bit more about transferring of credit. Ohio University is pretty transfer credit friendly. So when it comes to any AP or IB classes, or even in College Credit Plus or dual enrollment courses, you can find some of those equivalency guides on our website, as well as using websites like Transferology. We try to keep those pages as up to date as possible. So as you are looking for an institution, and if you need to know that your AP calculus class will transfer in its credit because you worked so hard in that class and you don't want to have to take it at a college or university, you'll know before you even apply what credit you'll have transferring in at the university based on the work that you've put in with those College Credit Plus or AP or IB courses. So definitely take a look at our website to find a little bit more information on those. As far as our admissions criteria are concerned, we have an early action with the rolling admission process. Now what that means, essentially we have an early action deadline of November 15th. We also have a rolling admission deadline of February 1st, but not all or any decisions are held to a particular date. Once you apply and we review your application, since we have all of the information, we have already started sending out admission letters. There's not a date that we hold all decisions and then release them all at once. It's a rolling admission basis. We want to make sure that we're getting that good news in your hands as soon as possible through this process. Our target class size is about 4,000, and we generally receive about 22,000 applications each and every year. It's a big undertaking for our office to do the review as we practice holistic review. So every piece of information that you submit, someone in our office will review. Our director says a couple things that I absolutely love, so I steal those phrases from her. She says that every single application, your application is being read by a real person with a real heart and a real mind. And then we're also an office of admission. We're looking for reasons to admit. So anything that you want to submit that you think will showcase who you are as a student academically, who you are as a student inside or outside of the classroom, we would love to review that piece of information as you submit it with your application for admission. The middle 50% of our incoming class typically fall between the top 12 and 38% of their high school graduating class. They typically have about a 3.55 GPA. And if you are looking at test scores, or if you've taken the ACT or SAT, they fall between a 21 and a 26 ACT and a 1060 to 1240 SAT. However, like I alluded to a little bit earlier when it comes to scholarships, Ohio University is test optional. If you are not able or don't want to take the test, that's fine by us. You're still able to apply. If you have taken the test but don't want to submit those scores, that is fine as well. You will still be considered for merit-based scholarships. You'll still be considered for direct admission to the program that you indicated on your application, and be considered for any honors experiences. So every benefit that comes with applying early action to Ohio University will be held across the board regardless of test score submission. Ohio University does have a few programs that are a little bit more selective than just general admission to the university. So I'd encourage you to check out our freshman-selective website just to get a little bit more information on some of those programs. Some of the information you might find could be rather obvious, such as audition requirements for dance or music or theater. However, it would be good information just to review so you have a little bit of knowledge of what you may want to prepare. If you do see some test scores, just know that it's probably referencing what we've accepted in the past or looked for in the past. And some of that review will change slightly this year, being test optional if you do not submit a test score. Our application process, we are a member of the Common App, which is the easiest way to apply, and I'll put that in quotes. I know as you're filling out the Common application, it's a lot of information, and we recognize that, which is part of the reason why we like to honor your time and effort and review those applications and read those essays and letters of recommendation. Even though those pieces are optional, we like to read those. And if you are putting the time and effort to write them, or asking your teachers or coaches or community leaders to write those on your behalf, we want to honor their time as well and read those pieces of information. Our application fee is $50. We're also looking for your high school transcript, as we will review that through our process. If you're applying to any honors experiences like the Honors Tutorial College or the Ohio Honors Program, there will be some additional essays that you will need to write and complete in order to be considered for those opportunities as well. Optional for Ohio University, like I mentioned, would be the essays, letters of recommendation, test scores, resume. However, anything else you want to submit, we would be happy to review. We also recognize that last spring or this past spring may not have been the easiest way to complete a year in high school. So we'll make special considerations based on any impact COVID may have played in that transcript. Our early action deadline is November 15th, like I mentioned, with a rolling admission deadline of February 1st. So you still have just a couple weeks to get that application in by that November 15th deadline. And then there's plenty of time after that if you're still working to make sure you're getting everything in by February 1st. A quick note about what we're currently doing as it relates to COVID-19 and the pandemic. We have closely been monitoring what the CDC has to say as it relates to everything that's going on. We really want to make sure that our students, faculty, staff, our guests, and even our community of Athens, as I talked about as we got started, with Athens being very special and close to Ohio University, we want to make sure everyone around and everyone involved is staying as safe and healthy as possible. So you can review a little bit more specifically what we're doing with our response to the pandemic by visiting our coronavirus website. but we've closely been monitoring what the CDC says and their guidelines. We're currently still offering virtual campus visits and tours and experiences. In addition to what we're doing this evening, we have some evening programs such as the For the Culture series. We have a lot of other things that are going on. So I definitely would encourage you at this current time to take a look at what we're doing virtually and reach out to us. We'd be happy to meet with you individually if you have specific questions as it relates to your particular situation, or if you want to connect with your specific admissions advisor, we would be more than happy and welcome to meet with you individually on a one-on-one basis. We also have been pretty active on any social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel has had a lot of activity as of late as well. So if you want to stay up to date with what we're currently doing, or get a little bit more information or see some pretty cool aerial shots of campus or some pictures or alumni spotlights, definitely take a look at some of our social media platforms. This is Rufus. Rufus is our Bobcat, our mascot. He always has fun whenever he's around. I always have fun when I'm talking to students and families. So I want to thank you for tuning in this evening and listening. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the process, about Ohio University, about Athens, or academically. I can try to answer some of those questions as well. So thanks for listening. I'd be happy to take some questions. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the presentation as well. My contact information is on the first slide, right at the bottom there. If you have questions that you would like to ask later, feel free to reach out to me specifically. I'd be more than happy to connect with you at any point along the way. And if you have any questions, feel free to post those in the Q&A. Any questions that we can think of? Well, like I said, I know it was a lot of information. And if you have questions later on throughout your process, you're more than welcome to reach out to me specifically. Or if you connect with our virtual visit website, there is a way where you can reach out to your specific admissions advisor, or you can fill out a form and they can connect with you and set up something specific. So again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And we just had a question come in. What are the student rooms like? So if you are living on campus, there's a couple different options, like I mentioned, based on where you may want to be living on campus. There are some single rooms. Those are kind of few and far between. Most rooms are going to be doubles. You do have some triples as well. The doubles will either consist of a shared bathroom with a next door neighbor, like kind of a Jack and Jill type of situation, or a bathroom that is shared with maybe your hallway. We do have some mod style, which essentially I always equate it to like your hand, and there's a couple, there's a common space, there's a couple hallways coming off of that common space, and then about 5 or 6 or so bedrooms or rooms, individual one-on-one rooms down those hallways with one shared bathroom for those individuals. So there's a couple different options. Our housing website does offer some floor plans and some pictures of some of the rooms. So I would encourage you to check out our housing website as well. What GPA do student athletes need to maintain eligibility? I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe it's a 2.0 or 2.5. It's one of those two. Our athletic website, which is ohiobobcats.com. I would encourage you to check that out. and reach out specifically to our athletic departments. There's also an opportunity for you to fill out a recruitment section. So our coaches can receive your information and they can continue to chat with you as you are completing your high school career. And then, as you hopefully make your next step into becoming a Bobcat. So ohiobobcats.com is that athletic website. So reach out to them specifically for more specific information on eligibility for athletics. All right, well, I'm not seeing any other questions come in. So again, I thank you so much for listening this evening. I hope to see you on campus soon. Have a good night, everybody.
Big thank you to our presenter, and I want to thank all of you for joining us this evening. After you close this window, there will be a very quick 4-question survey. I hope that you will take the time to fill it out. We would appreciate your feedback. Again, you can sign up for more sessions at oacac.org, and this session, along with many other, are being recorded and available on our website. I want to thank you all. Have a great evening. Good night.